Hey, in this presentation we want to talk about marginal revenue product. Now, MRP, marginal revenue product, it's a combination of ideas about marginal revenue and marginal product. So let's start there. We know that MR, marginal revenue, is the change in total revenue divided by the change in quantity. Now, this is a great function. We talk about it a lot in microeconomics. We use it to find the profit maximization, loss minimization output point for all firms and all market structures. But this is a very general idea. This just tells us, well, when your quantity changes, this is how much your revenue changes, but it doesn't really tell us where did that quantity come from. It just says your quantity changed and your revenue changed. This is in units of output and this is in dollars, so this function, MR, marginal revenue, it's in dollars. Let's take a look at MP. MP is marginal product, or sometimes it's called marginal physical product. And marginal physical product, it can be written a couple ways. We'll write it both ways. It's the change in quantity when you change labor. So quantity is the total product and labor is just a certain factor of production. So we can rewrite this as the change in total product when you change any factor of production. So that's marginal product. Now, marginal product, it's a little bit more specific, but marginal product, it's all in units of output and input. There's no money in here. This just says, hey, when you change this factor of production, this is how much your quantity, your product, your output changed. Marginal revenue product uses both these ideas together. So your book uses this notation, MRP, marginal revenue product. Now, marginal revenue product is the added revenue from the added output. Marginal revenue product, the added revenue from the added output. What makes marginal revenue product different is that marginal revenue product is very specific. It says this is how much your revenue changed from this output changing that can be attributed to a particular factor of production. So that's what really makes it different. It says this is how much your revenue changed by changing your output, and that output came from a specific input, a specific factor of production. So one of the ways that we can look at this is marginal revenue product is the change in total revenue divided by the change in a factor of production. The change in total revenue divided by a change in factor of production. So let's say I hire a worker, Mary, and revenue goes up $1,000. I can attribute that $1,000 to the extra 100 pieces that Mary produced for us. That's what MRP does. It says this is how much your revenue changed when your output changed, but it's attributing that output to a particular input, a particular factor of production. Now, if you look at this, you can see that this is the change in TR, and this is the change in the factor of production. And if we really try to remember, in MR, the change in TR is in the numerator, and in MP, the change in the factor of production is in the denominator. So we want to kind of do a little mashup here. So we know that MR is the change in TR divided by the change in quantity. That's MR, the change in TR divided by the change in quantity. And we know that MP, marginal product, marginal physical product, it's the change in total product divided by a change in a factor of production. Now, another way of saying total product is quantity. While doing a little bit of cancellation here, we can see that if I have MR and MP, MR and MP, if I just multiply those together, guys, I'm going to get MRP. So that's MRP. It's an important idea. We use it a lot in Chapter 10. We use it a lot in Chapter 11. Remember, it's the added revenue from the added output, but it goes to a particular factor of production. Hey, keep watching for those videos. We're going to do MRC next. Thanks.